Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. In a citizenship interview, the USCIS officer will ask you a lot of questions based on the information you filled in the N400 form. In order to help you prepare for your interview, we will give you the most common questions, which are carefully collected from actual interviews. Now, let's listen and practice with me. How are you today? How are you doing today? What is the weather out there? How is the weather today? How did you get here today? How long did it take you to get here? Who came with you? Did you come here with anyone? Did you come here alone? How was the traffic? Did you have trouble finding our building? Have you been waiting a long time to talk to me? Did you wait long? Why are you here? Do you understand why you are here today? Why do you want to become an American citizen? Why do you want to become a U.S. citizen? Did you study for this interview? Have you been studying hard for the interview? What is your basic eligibility to become a U.S. citizen? Tell me how you are eligible to become a U.S. citizen. Please stand up and raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Do you swear or affirm that the statement you will give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Do you know what an oath is? Please put your hand down and take a seat. You can put down your hand and sit down, please. Can you show me your green card, state-issued identification card, and all your passports? Please give me your green card, driver's license, social security card, and passport. What is your current legal name? What's your full name? Is the name on your green card the same as your current legal name? Have you ever used any other names before? Would you like to legally change your name? Do you want to change your name? What is your date of birth? When were you born? What is your country of birth? Where were you born? What is your country of citizenship? What is your country of nationality? Are you requesting an accommodation to the naturalization process because of a disability or impairment? Are you requesting any exemptions from the English or civics tests? How did you get your green card? How did you become a permanent resident? How long have you been a lawful permanent resident? What day did you become a lawful permanent resident? Where do you live now? What is your current home address? How long have you been living at your current address? Where did you live before? What is your home phone number? Is your mailing address the same as your current home address? Do you use email? Do you have an email address? Were your parents married before your 18th birthday? Was your father or mother a U.S. citizen before your 18th birthday? Is your father or mother a U.S. citizen? What is your race? Are you Latino, Hispanic, or Asian? What is your height? How tall are you? What is your weight? How much do you weigh? What is your eye color? What is your hair color? Are you working now? How do you support yourself? What is your occupation? What do you do for work? What is the name of your employer? Where do you work? How long have you been working there? How many trips of 24 hours or longer have you taken outside of the United States during the last 5 years? How many total days did you spend outside the United States in the past 5 years? How many total days have you spent outside the United States in the past 3 years? Where did you go? Were any of your trips for 6 months or more? What were your reasons for leaving the country? What were the purposes of your trips? What is your marital status? Are you married, divorced, single, or widowed now? How many times have you been married? When did you get married? When were you married to your spouse? What is your spouse's name? What is your spouse's nationality? When was he or she born? Is your spouse a U.S. citizen or permanent resident? When did he or she become a U.S. citizen or permanent resident? How long has he or she been a U.S. citizen or permanent resident? Do you have any children? How many children do you have? Please name your children and their birth dates. Are your children U.S. citizens or permanent residents? When did they become U.S. citizens or permanent residents? Do you have any dependents? Do you support anyone financially? Have you ever claimed to be a U.S. citizen? What does claim to be a U.S. citizen mean? Have you ever registered to vote in any federal, state, or local election in the United States? Have you ever voted in any federal, state, or local election in the United States? Do you owe any federal, state, or local taxes that are overdue? Have you ever not filed a federal, state, or local tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident? Have you ever called yourself a non US resident on federal, state, or local tax returns since you became a lawful permanent resident? Have you ever been a member of or associated with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or similar group in the United States or in any other location in the world? Do you have a hereditary title or an order of nobility in any foreign country? Have you ever been declared legally incompetent or been confined to a mental institution? Have you ever been a member of or in any way associated with the Communist Party? Have you ever been a member of any totalitarian party? Have you ever been a member of a terrorist organization? Have you ever advocated the overthrow of any government by force or violence? Have you ever persecuted any person because of race, religion, national origin, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion? Between March 23, 1933 and May 8, 1945, did you work for or associate in any way with the Nazi government of Germany? What is the Nazi government of Germany? Have you ever been involved in any way with genocide? Have you ever been involved in any way with torture? Were you ever involved in any way with killing or trying to kill someone? Were you ever involved in any way with badly hurting or trying to hurt a person on purpose? Were you ever involved in any way with forcing or trying to force someone to have any kind of sexual contact or relations? Were you ever involved in any way with not letting someone practice his or her religion? Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in a military unit? Have you ever been a member of a paramilitary unit? Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in a police unit? Have you ever been a member of a self-defense unit? Have you ever been a member of a vigilante unit? Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in a rebel group? Have you ever been a member of a guerrilla group? Have you ever been a member of a militia? Have you ever been a member of an insurgent organization? Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in a prison or jail? Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in a prison camp? Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in a detention facility? Have you ever been a worker, volunteer, or soldier in a labor camp? Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise serve in any other place where people were forced to stay? Were you ever a part of any group, or did you ever help any group, unit, or organization that used a weapon against any person or threatened to do so? Did you ever sell, give, or provide weapons to any person, or help another sell, give, or provide weapons to any person? Did you ever receive any type of military, paramilitary, or weapons training? Did you ever recruit, enlist, conscript, or use any person under 15 years of age to serve in or help an armed force or group? Did you ever use any person under 15 years of age to do anything that helped or supported people in combat? Have you ever committed, assisted in committing, or attempted to commit a crime or offense for which you were not arrested? What does commit a crime or offense mean? Have you ever been arrested, cited, or detained by any law enforcement officer for any reason? Have you ever been charged with committing, attempting to commit, or assisting in committing a crime or offense? Have you ever been convicted of a crime or offense? Have you ever been placed in an alternative sentencing or rehabilitative program? Have you ever received a suspended sentence, been placed on probation, or been paroled? Have you ever been in jail or prison? Have you ever been a habitual drunkard? Have you ever been a prostitute or procured anyone for prostitution? Have you ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics? Have you ever been married to more than one person at the same time? Have you ever married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit? Have you ever helped anyone enter or try to enter the United States illegally? Have you ever gambled illegally or received income from illegal gambling? Have you ever failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony? Have you ever made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States? Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading? Have you ever lied to any U.S. government officials to gain entry or admission into the United States or to gain immigration benefits while in the United States? Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Have you ever been ordered to be removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Have you ever been placed in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings? Are removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings currently pending against you? Have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces? Are you currently a member of the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever been discharged from training or service in the U.S. Armed Forces because you were an alien? Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever applied for an exemption from the military service of the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever deserted from the U.S. Armed Forces? Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States? Do you understand the full oath of allegiance? Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States? If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States? If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces? If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction?